Hello, today we'll be discussing about the four major concepts of national income. When we speak about concepts of national income, the four most important concepts that strike to us is GDP, NDP, GNP and NNP. Now what is it? Gross domestic product, net domestic product, gross national product and net national product. Now if you find there are certain similarities over here. G stands for gross, N stands for net, DP stands for domestic product, NP stands for national product. In order to understand these four concepts, it's very important to understand the difference between domestic product and national product and the difference between gross and net. When we speak about domestic product, it refers to the total goods and services produced within the country during an year. When I say within the country, it implies the goods and services which are produced within the domestic boundaries of the country. Here we don't include the foreign trade, we don't include the net exports, that is the difference between export earnings and import payments. But when we move on to the national product, it implies the total goods and services produced by a country, which implies the goods and services produced within the domestic boundaries of the country as well as outside the country. So in this case, we also include the goods which are produced outside our country. So we include over here the foreign trade. We include the income earned through foreign trade. We include over here net exports, that is difference between export earnings and import payments. But when we come to gross and net concept, the major difference between these two concepts is depreciation cost. What is depreciation cost? Depreciation cost is consumption of fixed capitals. Whenever we are going to use fixed capital on a normal usage basis, there will be wear and tear charges, or due to obsolete technology there would be replacement, or there could be certain accidental damages. On account of these, there will be certain depreciation in the amount, in the value of the fixed assets. That's called as depreciation cost. When we are doing national income accounting on the basis of gross concept, gross concepts include depreciation cost, whereas net concepts exclude depreciation cost. Hence, when we speak about GDP, we say as it is the total value of goods and services produced within the economy during an year. But when we say GNP, we say it as it is the total value of goods and services produced by a country during a year. When it comes to the net concepts, that is net domestic product and net national product, we say net domestic product is the net value of all the final goods and services produced within the country after deduction of depreciation cost. But when we say NNP, it refers to the net value of total final goods and services produced by a country during a year after deducting the depreciation cost. This is how we understand these four concepts. Now moving on further to the calculation part. When we speak about calculation part, to calculate national income we use three basic methods. One being the income method, one being the expenditure method, one being the output method. Usually when we write the formulas of GDP, NDP, GNP and NNP, we adopt expenditure method. Expenditure is a replica of income. The amount of total expenditure reveals the national income as well. Hence, national income is also called as national output and national expenditure. Now, coming to the first one, that is GDP. GDP is summation of consumption expenditure, investment expenditure and government expenditure. But why? See, when a person earns an income, the person spends a major part of its income for fulfilling the basic desires, that is for consumption purpose. So a part of income is being spent on consumption and another part is being saved, which is presently being used by the saving institutions as investment, and in future the same person would use it as investment. That becomes the investment expenditure. And a part of income is contributed to the government in form of tax, which the government also further uses for the public welfare. So when we see it from the macro point of view, if you sum up the total consumption expenditure done in the economy and investment expenditure done in an economy and the total government expenditure that is happening in the economy, we get our gross domestic product. Moving on further to the next identity, that is GNP, gross national product. It is summation of GDP with NFIA. Now what is NFIA? NFIA is net factor income from abroad. That is nothing but the difference between the receipts earned from the foreign trade minus the payments done through the foreign trade. So it could also be said as the net exports, where we can say it is the difference between export earnings and import payments. Hence GNP is C plus I plus G plus NFIA. Now moving on further to the next identity, that is NDP. When I speak about NDP, NDP is the difference between GDP and depreciation cost. When depreciation cost has been deducted from GDP, we derive NDP. And similarly, it comes to the NNP. When depreciation cost has been deducted from GNP, we get our NNP. So these are the formulas which have to be written along with the meaning when you have been asked question about concepts of national income. Moving